Who knew data analysis would be fun? That's why I'm going to be sharing with you my first project. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you my first data analysis project that I worked on. Data analysis is something I enjoyed. I like to use various coding softwares, including R, SQL, and Python, as well as visualization softwares, including Tableau and PowerBI. And basically, I like to collect data and use those data to make insightful decisions. And this is something I like to do. I like to share with you everything I know. So with further ado, let's get into my first project. Alright guys, so my first project is comparing highest and lowest temperatures during the winter season in Hillsborough, New Jersey. And the dates are from December 21st to March 18th. Those are the dates of when winter occurred. And this is something I wanted to do since this is my first project. It's simple and I wanted to show you guys what I did. And what is something I've always enjoyed doing. I like to analyze, look at temperatures throughout the days. I'm interested in that. I always love to do that. This is why I just wanted to do something simple. But as I do more projects in the videos on my YouTube channel, I'll definitely make them more challenging and complex. So without further ado, let's keep going. So the software I use in this project are obviously Excel and RStudio. With the Excel file, I use a CSV file, and basically I got all the numbers of the temperature from a website, and I just copied it to an Excel and collected all the data. And with RStudio, I decided I wanted to use that because I wanted to enhance my coding skills and show what I know with R coding. I could have used Tableau, but I would like to prefer using RStudio for this one. So getting the data set. So obviously I used the Excel spreadsheet CSV file here. I had all the dates here in the column, the temperature being the highest and the lowest temperature. And this is all in Fahrenheit. This is the R code that I wrote. Basically this is what I did. Read the CSV file, project, and basically what head does is it reads off the first 6 rows. So this is what the output does for when I used head project 1. It has the date, the temperature, high Fahrenheit, temperature, low Fahrenheit. And here's the R code for the highest and lowest temperature in December 2023. You can see I subsetted each date or months from 1 to 11. That's from December 21st to the 31st. And I renamed the columns to date, highest, and lowest. And basically I show them a summary of what the first date is. Then I use the code here. I know this is a long one, but you can see there's the whole list right here. I basically create a graph on the next slide. So here's a summary and graph output for the highest and lowest temperatures of December 2023. You can see the output here being the highest and the lowest, and the min, the max, the min and the max for the highest and lowest here. Those are when I use the summary function, and you can see that the highest was 55 degrees for the max, and the highest for the min is 39, and the lowest for the max is 49, and the lowest for the min is 20 degrees. And I noticed the starting day of December 21st was 45 degrees, and the lowest was 24. But I noticed it dropped all the way down here to December 22nd. It was 20 degrees, which is the lowest or the min, but the high was being 39 degrees. And then suddenly it starts to decrease, or increase here on Christmas Day. I still remember biking out. All the gyms were closed, but I had some nice weather. In other words, I had a 55-degree temperature being the high, and 37 to being the low, which I enjoyed, and it starts to increase, and then starts to decrease on the 29th from 54 to 36. And we could see that these two differences are pretty big in comparison. Also for the 22nd as well. But I noticed these two start to come together on New Year's Day. 43 degrees and 38. So here's the same code, but for January 2024. And this is quite interesting. On New Year's Day, we started with 47, and the low being 30. You see it's all fluctuating here. But we can see that the highest temperature was 59 degrees, and that date was on January 9th, which is right here. And the low was being 23. I find this interesting to analyze why this was 59 degrees and 23 degrees here. That's some question I needed to answer, why it was a big difference. It was being 59 degrees, and the low was being 23. Also, we could see that the lowest temperature here was 8 degrees on the 18th. I still remember going out, and it was being really cold. I had to put so many layers of bed sheets when I was sleeping on that day. I still remember that it was 8 degrees, and then it starts to increase up here. It starts to decrease and increase. So basically, there's just a fluctuation with all these graphs here. Also, we could see we can see a big drop down here. That's a big one and we could also see different graphs. This temperature, the red means the highest temperature, and the blue means the lowest temperature. And I just use the dots that represents the dates. Here's for February 2024. I did the same procedure, subset it from 43 to 71. And here's the code. And now we could see here that the starting day was 46 degrees and the low being 27. We also see the summer here. We can see that the high was being 65 degrees with the max, and the high with the min is 37. The lowest being 10 for the min, and the lowest for the max was 41 degrees. And I noticed on the 27th, it was 65 degrees. But apparently it dropped all the way down to 28 degrees. I still remember bike riding on that day. It was an absolutely gorgeous day. And we could also see on the 10th, it was also quite warm, 60 degrees. And on the 28th, it was 61 degrees, and then it starts to drop. So you see there is a big difference in temperature drop from on the 27th, 65 to 28. So that's a 37 degree drop. That's pretty big. You can see the temperature starts to fluctuate in between. And for March, the same thing I did here from March 1st to the 18th. I've subsetted it, and here's the code. And we can see we start off, we have pretty much some warm temperatures as we approach to springtime. But that's quite obvious. The high was being 77 for the max, the min was being 47 for the low, and the lowest was still 20 degrees, and the max was 47. So I could see here that the high was being 77 on the 14th. In other words, Pi Day is on the 14th. I love Pi Day. But here, it reaches its temperature as being summer. That's amazing. You could see it increases, then decreases, increases, decreases, and then starts to increase all the way up here. And it starts to decrease after the 14th. But we can see we still have, on the 15th, it was still 72, but then it drops to 62, and then got a lot cooler when spring started. Same with here too, it started to increase and decrease. So basically there was just a fluctuation in these graphs. So my final thoughts and conclusion is that temperatures during the winter seasons are normally lower, although they can fluctuate. I still remember back in January 2020, there was a date I can remember. January, on the weekend, it was January 10th and 11th. It was 65 degrees, which is a outlier. I was wondering why it was 65 degrees. And some reasons are because they are influenced by deterministic and stochastic factors. In other words, when they say when I say deterministic factors, it means there are factors such including solar radiation, which I believe, geographic locations, altitude, and basically those have the predictable effects on temperatures and variations over a period of time. And stochastic factors, in other words, are basically caused by short-term fluctuations, including, I believe they are called weather patterns, atmospheric, and local environmental conditions. Those are just some probabilistic distributions that the weather can perform using statistical patterns. And finally, weather forecasters can also provide updates on the temperatures within a week. However, these results can change as these days approach. Definitely, I checked. Usually, the weather forecasters are not accurate with their findings or research. They could definitely, obviously, change from day to day. It's not always accurate. I still remember it was one time it was going to be 72 degrees, but then it was 52. I think that was a couple of years ago when that happened. So thank you for watching my first visualization. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow my social media. This is my YouTube channel, my Instagram, my Snapchat, and my Facebook. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.